on my computer. Okay, greediness in general, the question on greediness in general, greediness, for example, a greediness with the spiritual teacher, asking as many questions as possible, taking up as much time as a specific example. I actually had that one myself, unfortunately. I had a lot of greed with Dr. Hawkins, my spiritual teacher. And unfortunately, I was sort of slapped on the face with my greed for his time. Um, the very first time I met him, I shook his hand about 14 times. I was so greedy to get his energy and his blessing. Um, and um, and every time I was there, I tried to get to the front of the queue, almost like barging my way, like some kind of greedy animal, to get to the front of the queue and not let anyone else get a chance to ask him a question. So I did that with the first two lectures, and the third lecture, obviously, the universe. I was annoying a lot of people by this kind of greedy attitude. And I went to the front of the queue, and suddenly in the lecture they said, anyone who's asked a question before to Hawkins, please go to the back of the queue. And I was like absolutely distraught. I had to go to the back of the queue, and it was like, okay, I ran to the back of the queue and let people go in front of me who was their first time to ask the question. And it came to the place that lecture, and I'd flown all the way to meet him. And I wanted to ask the question. I was so greedy to ask him another question. Um, and um, and it was my turn now to go up on the stage and ask my question. And they said, "Oh, we've run out of time at that point, and there'll be no more time for questions." And they stopped, and I didn't get to ask him a question on that lecture. And it was a lesson, a slap in the face from the universe. Like, look, you've got to let other people ask him a question, and you can't just barge into the front of the queue. Um, so, um, it just provided me with some caution that I need to be a bit more mindful and awareness that I'm not, that I'm not making other people suffer. I'm not being overly greedy. On the other hand, though, my heart goes out to spiritual students who just want to get to those levels and feel the ferocious fire of spiritual inspiration in them. I had that as well. I was just so desperate to have time with Hawkins to ask questions of him, just to be in his presence non-stop. And it was kind of ferocious in me. And I really wanted just to be glued to him non-stop. So I do understand that. And I think the universe in that case, but I have compassion, and on some level, I just have a lot of compassion for anyone who wants to be a spiritual student and to get ahead and to do their best. I wish them all the best. And yes, but if the universe starts slapping you in the face that you're being too greedy, probably need to tone it down. But I also think the world does need people who just have that spiritual fire. And as a spiritual teacher, I just love people actually who really want to who have the fire for enlightenment and for reaching the highest levels of spiritual growth and want to take advantage, because I believe they are the future, the blessings in this world. So I have a lot of compassion and I relate as well. But I think if you go too far and harm enough people and get too greedy, the universe does sort of let you know. But yeah, I don't think it's the worst one. I think it's just I understand it.